Hey everybody, let's do another Aloha Thursday CPM lesson, okay? This time we're doing 3.1.3, and that's on pages 116, 117 if you have your books out. And it's problems 3-45 all the way through 3-54. Okay, so let's just, let me see, we just get on it, huh? All right. Who are we going to be today? Who you want to be? All right. This was someone who made me laugh a lot when I was your age. Yosemite Sam. I'm gonna get that dag nab, a rabbit. Yeah, he was one of the Looney Tunes, one of the guys that likes to chase Bugs Bunny. Not Elmer Fudd though, right? I had a teacher uh, in high school that talked like Elmer Fudd, and he was really hard to take seriously sometimes because we'd be giggling a little bit. All right, so Daniel, fourth period. I can't talk and do this at the same time. Don't forget to get the date. These are the easiest 3 points. Make sure you're getting the easiest 3 points. They're easy and they're points, right? All right, we are doing lesson 3.1.3 and problems 3-45 all the way through 3-54, and boom, you already have 3 points. It's kind of cool to start like that and just feel like, yes, I already got 3 points, and you got a little momentum. And remember what momentum is, right? Momentum is like you're riding your bike a little bit, and you're pedaling hard, and then because you've been pedaling hard, you can coast a little bit and you still move forward. That's what momentum is. So get started, work hard, and pretty soon you'll blink and you got 2 or 3 more problems done. Okay? All right. An article in the local school paper states that 30% of the students at Oak Grove Middle School earned a place on the Silver Honor Roll. If there are 920 students at Oak Grove, how many are on the Silver Honor Roll? Use a percent ruler to help you decide and show all your work. So I don't know if you guys remember how that percent ruler worked, but they basically said, you're sort of making this long, skinny rectangle. If you guys have been doing your closure problems correctly, you kind of make one of these little things at the end of each chapter. So we're going to call that 0%, and the whole thing shaded in 100%. Remember, when you do this closure problems, you want to rate each set of problems that I have totally lost, or I totally get it, this is easy, or vice versa, and you sort of shade in. Okay, same idea here. This is 0%, this is 100%, and they're saying that 100% of the students is how many? You see that? 920. Okay, 920 students, and 0% is going to be 0 students, right? Okay, so what do? We're trying to figure out what is 30% of 920. And one of the things I do first is I find what's 50%. That's half, right? Okay, so now if I want to get 25%, it'd be half of that, right? Halfway from 50 to 100 is 75, but since we want 30, I'm going to get the 10, 20, 30, 40. That's kind of hard to do. I'm going to sort of sandwich this a little bit, and you're eyeballing it. You're trying to make them as even as possible. Okay, you get a ruler out if you wanted to. So we're going to call this 10% and this 20. And remember, 25 is half of 50. That's 30. That's 40. I'm not going to write 60, 70, 80, 90 because what I'm looking for is 30%. I want to find out what's 30% of 920. Okay, now 50% of 920 will be half of that. Now I'm pretty good at cutting things in half. Okay, and I know half of 900 is 450. So half of 920 is going to be another 10, 460. If you're not, then you go divide. Cut something in half, you just divide it by 2, right? You say 2 goes into 9 4 times, 2 times 4 is 8, bring down the 2, 2 goes into 12 6 times, and a perfect fit, so 460, okay? Do whatever it takes, but that's an important number usually. All right, so if 50% is 460, half of that is half of that, about 230. So what do you think? If this is 230 exactly, that's 25%. I want 30%. I don't know. You give me a guess, okay? Because I don't want everybody having my answer. I want to see where you estimated. You know it's going to be a little bit more than 230, okay? And that's how you do that. All right, 3, 4, 6. We got, given the following descriptions of portions, write each portion as a percent, 3/10 and 6/100. Okay, so 3/10 and 6/100. Now, the way they wrote that, I don't know if that's a decimal or a fraction. You could say 3/10 and 6/100, but I think they wanted a decimal. Okay, and that is 3/10 and 6/100, and I can put those together. Okay, 0.36. Okay, so you want to write each percent, each of those as a percent now. So I want to write this as a percent. Use a 100% block to help you visualize the proportions. What are they talking about? 100% block? What are those? Oh, methods and meetings, base 10 blocks, 100%. Oh, 100% blocks right there. So it looks like that's 10 rows of 10. Whoops. Sorry, I was off the page. I just flipped the page back one page. All right, we're working on this page. Flip it back and look there, 100% blocks. So sometimes that helps you. Now, the other thing that might help you, and I will include this as an attachment in the assignment, is this resource page is what they call it. Okay, so it'll be a PDF. You can print it out if you can print it out, but if you can't, it's not that hard to sketch one of these. You got 10 rows of 10. Okay, some people even use the binder paper to make their 10 rows. If you want to make it smaller, I'd count down 5. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would make a square. Okay, now that 5, I'm going to have each of those lines, split them in 2, right? I got 5 groups, and now if I split each of these in 2, how many will I have? Okay, so now I got 10 rows. Split it in half here, and this is the hard part, right? How do you make those squares? Okay, but basically 4 lines in that area will give you 5. So now I got 10 rows of 10. Boom. So you can do that, okay? Don't be one of those kids that, oh, I couldn't print it, so I couldn't do it. No, look for a reason to do something. Don't look for a reason to not do something. Now, Mr. Whitney calls that, don't look for an excuse, right? Make it happen. So 3/10 and 6/100, these tenths is a whole row, right? A whole row is a tenth, right? It's 10 hundredths. Okay, and you might find out what you're doing. So I got 3/10, that's 3, and then I'm gonna have 6/100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what it looks like, and that makes sense. It's 36 out of 100. Okay, that's kind of what you're gonna do. You have one of these, go ahead and use it. Okay, you're one of the lucky kids. Has a printer that works. Mine usually doesn't. Okay, all right. So that's what you're gonna do on that, and write it as a percent. So 3 and 6/100 is what percent? I'm gonna let you figure out your best estimate on that. Okay, and we'll see how you did. All right. For B, it's 8/100. Same idea. Okay, I'm only going to cover an 8 of those blocks if I draw one of those. And then you want to equal how much percent. Okay, and little box around the answer, big box around all your work. I'm assuming that we're going to write one of those, right? Okay. All right, so how you want to do it. What do we got? We got C, same idea, 1700ths. And 11/10. 11/10 is kind of weird. 11/10. What does that mean? 11/10 is improper, huh? That's one whole with 1/10 left. Okay? Or 1 and 1/10. Another way of writing it. Okay? All right. I'm going to let you guys try those. And again, use that. If you got a printer that works, use it. Save you a little time. If you don't be afraid to do what I did here. I showed you how. Okay? 347. Maurice's gas tank can hold 60 liters of gas. On your paper, copy and label the percent ruler below, and then use it to find out how many liters are in his tank when it is 50% full, 7/10 full, or 2/5 full. Okay? What are we doing? Well, what they asked. Okay? And again, if you have your paper go to another page, you don't need a complete new heading, but you need your first and last name. Okay? All right. 347 now, right? And we're copying this, okay? And then we're going to do this. So I'm going to save that for the answer, but remember 50% is half. If this is 60 liters, what's half of 60 liters? Boom. And they did a good job with the 10, 60, 70, 80, 90, right? Each of these are 10 apart, right? So 7/10 is 7 of these notches, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Full, and how much is that in liters? You figure it out. Okay, 2/5. Okay, each 2, right? So 2/5 is going to be here. Okay, and you figure out about how much of the 60 liters that is. So we'll have that in the answers. 3/4/8. Which of the following fractions would you add together easily? Okay, and I like this problem because it gets you kind of looking for things that go well together. It's called compatible, things that fit together well, like peanut butter and jelly, chips and salsa, right? Yes, grandma and grandpa go together well. Hope you guys are all staying safe. I actually talked to my daughter yesterday, and we decided that we are not going to see each other for Thanksgiving. It's going to make me sad, right? But I love her, right? She loves me, and there will be plenty of more Thanksgivings in the future. We want to help keep our numbers down and keep ourselves safe. So for this holiday, Thanksgiving, she's going to stay up in Arcata. I'm going to stay down here. All right. So which of these go together? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, well, I'm a 5/7, 2/3, 1/4, 4/3, 7/5, 1/2, 9/10, 1/5, 5/6, 1/7, 2/2. What do you think? Looking for things that go together well. It's like if you had a whole jar of money, what would you do to organize it? Most people are going to put the quarters together, the nickels together, the dimes together, the pennies together, right? How about putting the sevenths together? 5/7 with 1/7. Let's put that together. Are there any more thirds? There's 2/3, there's 4/3. Put those together. How about fourths? I can't find a fourth. Okay, so is there something else I can do? Okay, some of these aren't perfect fits together, but they still kind of make sense. Okay, so think about it, and then I'll tell you what I thought with the answer video tomorrow. Okay? Got a lot gonna be in this answer video, huh? All right, 349. Alex earns $7.75 a day walking dogs for his neighbors. If he walks dogs for 12 days, how much money would he make? $7.75 the first day, $7.75, and I'm going to have 12 of these days. Is there a shorter way of doing this than adding 12 775s? All right, I don't want to write, here's a hint. I don't want to write 775 12 times. You get my hint? Yeah. Multiply 12 times 775. Don't forget, if you're using that big dot for times, and most of you are starting to do that now, make sure it's off the line, it's up in the middle, and it's darker than a decimal point. So you never want to confuse that. Now, what do you do when you multiply decimals? Pretend there's no decimal and multiply. So you're going to do that, then you're going to figure out where the decimal goes at the end. I trust that most of you get that right, and the few that don't will come back and see the video if they don't ask their teacher in afternoon Zoom and find out how to do it. Okay? Okay, how do you figure out where to put the decimal? 350. Okay, let's move this over a little bit so you can see the book and my paper a little bit better since we're on the right side of the page. Use lesson 3.1.3b resource page. Okay, 3.1.3b resource page. And did I only do the A? I gotta get that one, huh? To shade in the portions represented by the following descriptions and then write them in the stated form. Okay, so we're gonna have to print up some of those, make some copies, and bring those. So 350 might have to wait for you too, okay? But you're going to shade 700ths and write that portion as a percent, okay? And then you're going to shade 7/10 and write that portion as a fraction, and 28/100ths or 28% and write it as a fraction, and 31.5% and write it as a decimal. Okay, so that'll be a challenge one, huh? Okay, I'm going to leave you some room for those. A, B, C, and D. So that means I'm going to my third page for this one. And we're starting on 3-5-1. And given the numbers 18% and 7/10, explain which number is larger by using words or pictures. 18% and 7/10. Which is bigger? Okay, and they say try writing a picture. So 18%, I could again get my hundreds or percent block out, right? Remember, okay, 10 rows of 10, boom, just like that. I'm going to color 18, so that's 10 and almost 10. There's my 1800ths or 18%. How about if I make a block the same size? Okay, but now these are fifths. I want tenths. So I'm just going to have these rows and not have the vertical lines to make the columns. That's tenths. How much is 7/10? Well, I'm going to shade in 7 of them, right? How about if we shade that in with a red pen, since I drew that in blue? All right, 7 rows. So which is bigger, this or that? That's bigger. Remember, your greater than less than always points at the smaller number. Okay, you definitely need to know that for tomorrow night's homework. All right, and now we have explain what 78.5% would look like on a 100% block. 78.5% on a 100% block. So you're going to do one of those blocks and shade in 78.5 of them. How are you going to do that 0.5? I'm interested to find out how you do it. And you can come check out the video tomorrow and find out how I did it. What is the sum of 2 halves and 3/3? 2 halves and 3/3. Okay, that's what you have to do. And represent your idea in multiple ways. So you're going to be drawing some pictures of some pizza or some, whatever. Okay, I think that one is probably the easiest problem on, if it clicks. Sometimes it's like the answer's right in front of you and you can't figure out what it is. If it clicks, that's the easiest problem on the homework. Last one. Owen loves to eat hamburgers. Who doesn't, right? He goes to his neighborhood grocery store and buys ground beef and buns to make hamburgers at home. He buys a package of hamburger buns, $1.29. Package of ground beef for $5.82. He has only a $10 bill and wonders if he can buy some ketchup and mustard too. The ketchup's $1.89, the mustard's $2.69. Does he have enough? Okay, money. There's no tax on food unless it's prepared for you. So let's take all those numbers and add them up. First we got $1.29. Those were the buns. And then we have $5.82 for the hamburger. Ground beef is what they call it. And then the mustard and ketchup is $1.89 and $2.69. And how much does he have? $10. Your hint on that one is to remember $10 is $10. What are you talking about, Mr. Daniel? $10 is $10. Okay, add the decimal and the cents, right? So you're going to be adding this and comparing it to that to see which one's bigger, to see if he has enough. Okay? All right, good luck on all this. A lot of them, but I think not too hard, right? And again, I will include those resource pages for those lucky people that have printers. Otherwise, you're just doing what we did here. It doesn't take long, right? And I imagine that the other resource page is very similar. Okay? All right. Good luck, everybody.